Joe, to kick off this Pick'em show this week, just want to compliment you on your sweater. That's a nice sweater you got there.
It's a jacket, but okay.
Another week, another Pick'em's challenge. We're back again for our Week 17 picks. Happy New Year's to everyone out there. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're watching the replay or you're tuned in live, and share it with more NFL fans out there. Tell them MJT football is where it's at. You see the standings on the board. Did we gain a game on Joe, Tony? I think we did.
We did.
A game.
It was bad last week.
It's about time.
Go Colts. It was definitely that Colts pick. Anyways, we're going to go through every single game for Week 17. I'm excited to get into it. You guys want to talk about the Cowboys and the Titans first? And also, let us know your predictions in the chat as we go along here. Cowboys-Titans. We all got it right. We all picked the Cowboys. It was kind of self-explanatory. The Cowboys were going to win this game, but it looked a little bit scary there in the middle of it. And the Cowboys pulled away. Any thoughts, Tony Tucker? I know that you guys always have thoughts on the Cowboys.
Yeah, so we got off air. We got into a little fight. And not a fight, but we got into a debate because Mike likes to defend Dak Prescott, right?
I do. That's true.
We were talking about 2 weeks ago, the interception in OT with Noah Brown and off the chest and everything that happened in that. And I just want to clarify something. Depending on what you think of Dak Prescott is whether or not you think that is a good or bad interception. I don't like Dak Prescott being somebody that I have to depend on, although he is paid like somebody who should go out and win games. I don't like Dak being, oh, this guy's going to go fire the football for us 50 times and we're going to win the football game, because I think that's a recipe for disaster. I've been very consistent with the Cowboys and how they should win the game, and that is behind the running the football. And if you have to punt it away and rely that Micah Parsons or one of your defensive stars is going to go get the football back for you, and then you can redeploy running the football and doing play action. So, like, Dak in this game, again, is just continuing to make turnovers that are concerning to where the Cowboys should be. It's like, dude, just protect the football. I have full faith that the Cowboys defense can match the running game and Dak Prescott and get the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. But did you see who the Titans were playing out there in that game? Like, I had to start looking up names. I'm like, who is this guy making a play in this football game? Like, it was essentially Kevin Byard was like a one-man machine on the defensive side of the ball to keep the Texans in it. And last thing I'll say about this, the Titans, in my estimation, did the smart thing. They said, this game doesn't mean anything to us. Everybody get healthy. We're going to go spoil the Jacksonville Jaguars' playoff hopes in Week 18. That's what they're going to do. That is what the Titans are doing. It's going to happen. I'm calling it now. That's what the Titans are making the playoffs in Week 18.
A little bit of foreshadowing there, Tony. Yep. But, yeah, I was on the Cowboys to the Super Bowl bandwagon, as I usually am on. But I'm starting to get a little concerned that there might be a few teams in the NFC that the Cowboys are not going to be able to get over once again this year, as they do every year. I thought that this year the big difference for Dallas was going to be that the defense was elite, not just good, like elite, shut down. The last couple of weeks against Jacksonville, which is a good offense, Trevor Lawrence is balling out. They gave it 40 to someone else that was unexpected. Oh, Gardner Minshew and the Eagles. The Eagles are a good team. You got the backup quarterback in, though. You shouldn't give up 40 to them, maybe 20, 25. Even 30, but 40 is a little bit crazy. I think that is signs that maybe the secondary on the back end is not as great as the Cowboys are going to need it to be come playoff time. They are fortunate, though, that some of the contenders are run-first teams. So we'll see if that's an impact at all. The 49ers are a run-first team. I feel like the Eagles are going to be a run-first team, especially in the playoffs. So that would actually play into their strength a little bit of their front seven. I'm a little bit worried about the Cowboys' defense. They should have won this game. But Josh Dobbs even moved the ball on them, as you're saying. Joe, go ahead. Let the people know how you feel about Dallas and their victory.
I I'm live on TikTok. I have like all these people looking at me, and they want to know. They want to come over here. I bet a bunch of these guys are Cowboy fans too. Just to let you guys know, we've been talking about it. This game proved why the Dallas Cowboys aren't Super Bowl ready right here. All these mistakes that they're making, their center still can't hike the damn ball and get Dak Prescott the ball right in his hands. This is the game. The Tennessee Titans, Tony. I believe I'm with you with them. I think they played this game correctly. They said, hey, sit everybody, and let's just go out there. We don't care. And they didn't give a damn, and the Cowboys still couldn't go out there and spank them. The Cowboys still couldn't go out there and put 40 points on them. The Dallas Cowboys are a mistake-prone team, and it's just going to continue. You remember who the head coach is for the Dallas Cowboys? Because I'm drawing a blank. McCarthy, the guy who always does great in the regular season and then gets smashed when it comes to playoff time. Dallas Cowboy team, your Dallas Cowboy fans, your team is what we all know it is, right? In the words of Dennis Green, they are who we thought they were. And Tennessee Titans, you guys will see later on in my Jacksonville game of what I think about them. But I think Tennessee Titans, I'm right there with you, Tony. Tennessee Titans, they didn't come to play this game. They didn't come to win this game, but they hung around, and that's good for a team in Week 17. I like it.
What's going to be funny is when they draw the Panthers. They draw Harrison's amazing Panthers in the first round of the playoffs, and they get bounced, and Sean Payton is the coach next year, and we see the same results for the Cowboys. The coach won't matter. I don't think Mike McCarthy is the problem as much as not sticking to what makes them successful is the problem. Like that's the thing. And they drew up the blueprint for how to win with this kind of a team. They won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s with a great offensive line and running the football and playing good defense. They already know how it works, but for some reason they keep dropping back 40 plus times with Dak, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I think if Sean Payton is the coach of the Cowboys next year, that is what he's going to lean on. Yep. We're going to see Tony Pollard become an NFL superstar, and we're going to see the Cowboys lean on that defense with Sean Payton. I think that's exactly what they'll do. They'll draft another running back. They'll save the money with Zeke, and off to the races we will go with maybe, a DeMarco Murray-esque season for Tony Pollard.
That Malik Davis kid actually looked pretty nice on some runs, and they might be able to get Corum.
How many excuses are we going to make for Dak Prescott, Tony? How many excuses are going to make for America's team, Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott leads the league in interceptions. That's all I heard when Derek Carr got ousted by the Raiders this week. He leads the league in interceptions. Dak Carr has 14 interceptions, and he's only played 11 games this year. 11 games. Oh, let me guess. He has backup wide receivers. He doesn't have good wide receivers. That's no excuse. You go out there and play your game, Mike. You go out there and you do it. I know you love Dak Prescott, but 14 interceptions in 11 games to lead the league. If other quarterbacks are getting ousted for it, Dak Prescott, come get that heat.
Well, Jesus, man.
No, but see, here's the thing, Joe, is good organizations and franchises, they win the games. The Cowboys have all these interceptions. They're still 12-4, and they're going to win. And on top of it, they back up their quarterbacks the right way, which we're going to get to and we're going to talk about with your team in a little bit. I just want to say that you look like the right-hand man to Mark Davis. Like, it's like, hey, this guy owes me some money. Go collect. Like, you look like a Vegas mobster in this jacket. It looks really good on you.
Actually, Dana White gave me this jacket because Dana White runs the Raiders now. Did you know that? Mark Davis takes advice from Dana White, just to let you know. So
you're missing like a couple of rings and a couple gold necklaces away from being super scary.
What?
Oh shit!
I couldn't find the.
Give me a couple of rings. I'll be like, "What? Say something. You want to get to Mark Davis's office? You come through me. You come through me, Tony."
I kind of want to leave the show already.
Mike wants to defend Dak Prescott. The floor is yours, Mike.
I don't got nothing to say too much. I can't pull up the stats right now.
Oh, okay.
Can't pull up the records right now, but I'm just gonna bring them next week, ahead of time. I'm pretty sure Dak in the past 3 years has probably thrown 20 more touchdowns than Derek Carr. He's probably won 15 more games than Derek Carr. He's probably thrown for like 3,000 more yards than Derek Carr. Maybe that's not true. Derek had almost 5,000 yard season.
Maybe not, because Dak Prescott was hurt too. Remember?
Well, his last 3 healthy seasons. How about that? Dak Prescott is 30 games above 500 on the Cowboys, who you say have a terrible head coach, have had a bad defense, and Derek Carr's 20
They play in the NFC, Mike. I can go take a team of 8
the AFC West has had a bunch of AFC West had a bunch of freaking awesome teams over the last 10 years, huh?
The AFC West?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some awesome teams over there.
Let me just say this. I think that these two quarterbacks are very, very similar in their ability, decision-making, everything. I think one thing that happens is the Cowboys organization supports their quarterback. They do the things that are necessary for him to win football games, right? Like they bring in the right players. They focus on the offensive line. Derek Carr has had none of that going for him. Not front office support, nothing. Like the reason the Raiders aren't winning isn't because Derek Carr. It's because your organization sucks, Joe. Like that's just the bottom line.
Brent's Cowboys. Dak has 14 interceptions. 7 of them are non-turnover worthy plays.
That's 7 of them. But that happens in the NFL,
he hit the receiver in the hands, guys. It's not his fault.
That's true. That is fact.
I always like you were saying last year against that the Raiders fans were saying they have no weapons on offense. That's what the Cowboys are using this way. Noah Brown, he doesn't even deserve to be a starting wide receiver. He doesn't even deserve to be on the field. Well, he's on the damn field. That's your wide receiver. You know who gets wide receivers paid? Derek Carr. But let's get off this. Let's go to the next game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mike's like, should we even talk about this? Let's spend the first 11 minutes of the show.
I just want to say, if you want your quarterback to get kicked off your team or something, get me their autograph. Because I got Russell Wilson's autograph this year. And guess what happened? He went to shit. And then a week before Derek Carr got ousted by the Raiders, I got this. Derek Carr's autograph. So if you want me and you want your quarterback, so Tua fans, and we're on the Miami game, Tua guys, send me Tua's autograph. I'll have it, and Tua will be gone for the Miami Dolphins next year.
Joe, at the Super Bowl experience, this is crazy. At the Super Bowl experience, there was a rack of Tua jerseys that were being given away for almost free. They were like $30, all signed by Tua.
Yeah.
And you were there for that. So that also counts. That's also a part of this. Anyway, speaking of Tua, Tony, you think Tua's going to beat the Patriots in Foxborough this week?
I don't. But are you ready for my next crazy conspiracy? Not even conspiracy, but
it's Teddy. But
6 years ago, around this time of year, Carson Wentz was about to win MVP of the NFL. Like he was having that kind of year. The Eagles are marching towards the playoffs, and in comes Big Nick for the Eagles. Now the Dolphins hit a little bit of a rough patch, and Teddy Two Gloves, backup, is about to hit his run and go streaking to the Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins. In all seriousness, I think the Dolphins don't have much of a fall off at the quarterback position when Teddy gets a full week of practice with this offense in a couple of weeks. The one thing that the Patriots have in this game that I think is dangerous is the pass rush and is the return of the defensive tackle. Barmore is there, and you got my Michigan guy, go Wolverines, about to dominate TCU in a minute here, and Uche, and then you got Jude on the other side. So the pass rush could cause a little bit of a problem, but I do think that Teddy Bridgewater will be good enough for the Dolphins to squeak out 27 points in this football game and win the game, and the Dolphins will make things interesting for the final week. And if Tua does shut it down, which I'm kind of in favor of at this point, like I know you want to play, but 3 concussions in this short of time, Tua, you've already proven that if you're healthy, you're a good enough quarterback to get paid. If some of the guys we've already previously been talking about are getting paid, you're good enough to get paid by somebody. It might not be the Dolphins, but somebody, but you have to be healthy. You have to be able to like stand upright. And that's not going to happen if you keep getting concussed in such a short period of time. Just sit it down, let Teddy take over, and let whoever the young kid they drafted from Kansas State be the backup. Dolphins will win this game 27-23. Mac Jones will be throwing a hissy fit and probably take his shoe off and try to club somebody with it because he's dirty. dirty player.
Mac Jones has lost his damn mind. I just want to put a reminder. The chat is buzzing right now. That chat is free. Go ahead and leave your guys' thoughts in that chat. And all of you leaving your thoughts on Dak Prescott in that chat, I want to hear your thoughts in a few weeks when he's in the playoffs and Derek Carr is retiring from the National Football League. So stick around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications on. So that way in a couple of weeks, we'll resurface this conversation. And Joe Morley's quarterback's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm going to be laughing my ass off for the entire season. I agree with you, Tony. I think that the Dolphins, they need simple things from their quarterback to win games. Simple things. You need to just throw accurate passes on rhythm, on timing, and let the receivers do all the work. Let the run game do all the work. The problem is the last time Teddy had to step into this role, he immediately got hurt. The time before that, he had to step into a role like this. He immediately gets hurt. I think there's only been one time where he's come in as a backup for the Saints a couple years ago where he didn't get hurt. I think I can't predict he's going to get hurt. But the reason I'm picking the Patriots is because I think Skylar Thompson's going to play in this game, or Teddy's not going to be as great. So that's why I'm taking the Patriots. I think the Patriots defense is still a little bit underrated. They've been stepping up to the plate and giving them a chance in a lot of games where if their offense was just average, they would win, including last week. But we'll see how well the defense plays in this one. I'm going with the Patriots just for the sheer fact that I just don't know if Teddy could stay out there. Joe, you're going with the Pats as well?
I'm going with the Patriots too. I know that Tyreek Hill said it don't matter who his quarterback is. You can give him Flojo, and he'll go out there and put up 1,000 yards or whatever. I understand, and the offense of the Miami Dolphins is scary, and I'm not really sold on these New England Patriots either. But the way the Miami Dolphins defense has been playing, and I understand, and Bill Belichick getting a young coach, and we know that. Mike McDaniels, the good McDaniels, has been doing a good job coaching over there. But when you go up against a Super Bowl guy like Bill Belichick late in the season, and his defense has been playing amazing, he's going to be able to shut your offense down. You don't think that they've been getting ready, going out and film different practices and cheating a little bit to find out what Miami's doing behind the scenes? Like, they're going to come out here and do it. Like, I'm just saying, Bill Belichick's pulling up his sleeves, and he's going to come out and do it. Even though Matt and how many times does Mac Jones yell at his offense coordinator today? This game, it's going to be funny. Mac Jones, you're not good enough to be doing this. He's not. Every time I see Mac Jones, he's not good enough. But somehow the Patriots pull this off, and I actually think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Speaking of Mac Jones, some pretty effed up news just broke. They just dropped hi Eric and everyone else in the chat. Please subscribe to the channel. I say it a million times. I see some new faces, and let us know who you got winning each game as we go through them all. We're going to go through them all, by the way. This is only the first game of the weekend other than the Thursday night game that we went over. But speaking of Mac Jones, what's up, Willie? Speaking of Mac Jones, news just broke, Tony. Derwin James is getting fined like $5,000 more than Mac Jones is getting fined from last week. And Mac Jones took a intentional dive at a player's knees. Derwin James it was not a clean hit, but there wasn't even helmet-to-helmet contact on that hit. Damn. How is Mac getting fined for less for a intentional trying to hurt somebody?
Yeah, Mac is like, we've all played sports and we all know that one kid that's like, is just cheap. It's just dirty. It's like, I got a butt end to the ribs in a hockey game from somebody who was like Mac Jones. And it was one of the most painful experiences in my life. We don't need to go into that. Mac Jones, Joe, you said that he's not good enough to do that. I would argue good quarterbacks don't act like Mac Jones. They don't present themselves the way he does. If he thinks he's doing an impression of what Tom Brady does, that's not it. That's not what Tom is doing when Tom does that. No. He's acting more like a wide receiver who's like, I'm not getting the football right now. Why don't you give me the ball? It's like, no, Mac, your offense isn't set up. Everybody goes, why don't the Patriots throw the ball deep? They were trying to throw the ball deep at the beginning of the year, and it wasn't working out. What's been working out for them is what got them a bunch of wins. Defense and short area passing. Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, and
I don't know who Ricky is, but I like Ricky.
Tom's thing is about building team when he's doing all that kind of stuff. He's yelling at the O-line most of the time and trying to get them hyped up, trying to build them around him, and realize that I can't win without the O-line. I just can't. I'm not mobile. That's what he's trying to get these guys to understand. He's not necessarily going out there and saying, "Let me throw more touchdown passes." No, he's talking about the run game, everything in between, and he's garnered the respect to do stuff like that.
What is this?
Hold on, Mike. Willie, I don't understand. I like new faces in the chat, but Willie says Patriots going to win this one, and then he turns around and says Dolphins will win. Who you taking, Willie? You got to take one, dude.
Me and your arguments, Joe, we convinced Willie. We convinced him to switch over to
he was with the Patriots, and then he goes, you know what? Yeah. I'm going with it. I'm going with the Dolphins.
One of those old switcheroo.
Willie already on the first game. Willie's already switching.
Speaking of quitting, I think the Browns are just about on the brink of quitting. I was like really digging in because I really want to get these games off of Joe, and I know that we're going to pick against the Browns most of the year. And I was like, there's got to be something. And I see like individual plays where it's like, okay, maybe it clicked on that play. Maybe it's starting to come. But then against the Saints, throw that all out the window. They were terrible again. And I don't believe in them anymore at all. Turn it around this year. I think that this is going to take an offseason to see exactly what Deshaun Watson's going to come back and be, if anything. And I think Washington's hungry. Their defense is playing really well. This should be a win for Washington, even with Carson Wentz at the helm. But Tony, anything to add?
Washington should win this game easy. I want to talk about last week. They go up against the 49ers. You're on the road. Ron Rivera, you have to know who your quarterback is. They go for it when they're inside like their own 30-yard line when you have a defensive team. They get down there on the first drive. They don't score, and they're on the one, and they go for it. Get points. You're on the road. You're asking Taylor Heineke, who's already under, like he's like the least talented quarterback in a thing where Mr. Irrelevant is on the other side of the football because he's handicapped by talent and coaching and everything else. You're asking him to play a perfect game on the road against the number one defense, and you pass up points early in the game and then ask him to go for it in your own side of the end zone, and then you pull him for it after a couple plays where eventually the 49ers defense is going to get there, and then you go to Carson Wentz the next week. Like, everything Ron Rivera is doing pisses me off in this moment because Taylor Heineke is the reason you are in this situation. He's the better option. And if I believe that Washington will win this game because they are going to ask Taylor Heineke to come off the bench and lead a scoring drive at the end of this game after Carson Wentz has two inexplicable second or third quarter INTs trying to do dumb things out there on the football field. He should have stuck with Heineke in this thing, kept the ball rolling. It doesn't really matter. Washington's not going to make a lot of noise. But I'm a Taylor Heineke supporter, and I thought he screwed him with the way he called last week's game. And Washington had a chance to be in and potentially win that football game if he would have just called a better game as a head coach.
What? Look, I'm trying to pick up Tony. And move him over here.
I kind of want to go over there now, too, after that. That's convincing me.
This is what's going to happen. You guys are underestimating my guy, Carson Wentz. He's going to come out here. He's going to light it up. This is going to be the game that people are going to be like, Carson Wentz? This is why we traded for Carson Wentz. And then next week is the week that he blows it up. There's always one game that Carson Wentz comes out and looks good in, and this is going to be this game. He's going to throw three touchdowns in the first half alone in this game. And the Washington Commanders will win easily. Kevin Stefanski, man, boy, have the Cleveland Browns fans turned on Kevin Stefanski quick, right? Oh, he was the savior a couple years ago, and now all of a sudden he's crap. So who got credit for winning all those games the first year when he was there? Baker Mayfield maybe now? I don't know. I'm just saying. But Deshaun Watson is doing exactly what we thought he was going to do. You can't take years away from football and then come back and be a starter. So it's taking them a while. But, yeah, I'm taking Washington, and I'm taking Washington easily in this game.
Yeah, and you're starting to convince me a little bit because I am on the path and the bandwagon, and it does make sense for Ron Rivera to put in Carson Wentz, even though Taylor Heineke's been doing just fine. It all makes sense because the NFL is scripted, and the Packers are going to get that 7th seed, and this is how they're going to do it, by Washington choking.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, Mike. It's scripted. We all know. Zero said he did a lot of promotion for us yesterday, and I can confirm, so I appreciate that, Zero.
Go Cowboys, Zero.
Anytime you guys are out there, just tell your friends about MJT.
One quick thing about I think that last week the numbers could have looked a lot differently for Deshaun Watson. The outcome could have looked differently. There were some bad drops in that game. Like, I think he's closer to being back to what they thought they were getting than we think, just because of the outcome. Like I rewatched it and I was like, did Njoku just drop that? Like Donovan Peoples-Jones dropped that? Amari Cooper dropped another touchdown? Like it could have been
one. Yeah, there's one specifically late in the game. I don't know if it was the second to last drive or the last drive where Deshaun made a play, rolled left, and hit Peoples-Jones like a dot in the corner, and he just dropped it. And it's like, that's an easy touchdown right there, man, in the NFL. So, and that's nothing against DPJ. He's been great all year. It's just circumstance. All right, on to the next one. And I think we can breeze over this one as well. Desmond Ridder played a lot better last week, guys. Yeah. Played a lot better. So I'm excited to see what he does this week against a weaker defense, kind of putting it down. There's only one man on the Cardinals right now that's playing like an absolute lunatic because he's playing his last snaps. Great career by J.J. Watt. I think it's a genius move now while you still have your health and everything's going great. Just had the baby. Walk away from the game. You're a Hall of Famer. You're not accomplishing anything in Arizona. And finish this thing off strong with everyone knowing that this is your last place. Remember Tony said maybe he got into the cabinet? There were some other motives there that we didn't know until after the game. Any thoughts on this game, though?
Exactly. I called for him to be tested privately in our chat because I was just like, what is going on with J.J. Watt? He is playing 2 games in a row. It was like the Patriots game, and then last week I'm like, I haven't seen this J.J. Watt in years. But he was just inspired by, hey, I'm leaving every single thing I can because I've made up my mind. I'm done. I kind of think that that's a lie. I kind of think that he just wants to separate from the Cardinals. And if there is an opportunity weeks 9, 10, 11 next year to join a team for a playoff run, Mike has the hat on, he would look at a team and say, hey, I'll come back and join you guys for the final 4 or 5 weeks of the season in a playoff push. But congratulations, great career. The man's done tons of charitable things. He's absolutely fantastic and had some of the most dominating time. Now, let's talk about Desmond Ridder here.
Yeah.
Desmond, this is a great opportunity in a controlled weather to go out there, have a 300-yard game, multiple touchdowns, build some confidence, and head into – I know you have another week after this, but head in with a game under your belt where you put some good, positive strides forward for next year. And lastly, the last thing I'll say on this, I have to start Tyler Algier this week in fantasy in a championship. And I need them to run the football in the red zone with Tyler Algier, and I need 2 touchdowns. I got to take down the evil empire of Max and Juancast for the championship.
The evil empire, huh? And I think JJ is going to do all that stuff in his post-football career also. So very, very successful career. And it's a generation that's changing. It's a generation that's changing. Joe, thoughts on this game? Thoughts on Desmond Ridder last week? Last week's game made me go and watch the Desmond Ridder preseason stuff again. And I was like, this looks like he's more comfortable, closer to what he looked like in the preseason. But Joe, thoughts?
I just don't like the Cardinals. That's the only reason I'm going with the Falcons. I don't think the Falcons are any good. I don't think Desmond Ridder played good. I don't think they have anything going for him going into this week. It's just that I just have so much dislike for the Arizona Cardinals and the organization and what they've been going through this year. And I've been correct on it. Fade the Cardinals, Tony. We're fading them again. We're fading them. Cliff Kingsbury, when you're head coach, and there's rumors coming around that your head coach is going to resign. Well, he should get fired, but he's going to resign at the end of the year. And that means the whole organization is done. DeAndre Hopkins is out this week. Nobody's playing for the Arizona Cardinals. This team quit in Mexico against the 49ers, and they haven't been the same since. So no way in hell that I even take the Cardinals, that I even want to be around the Cardinals organization.
Trace McSorley.
I think one last thing on this. I don't know how the contract is worded, but I wonder if he doesn't get paid if he quits as opposed to getting fired. So you say, man, I want to resign. So the owner's like, wait, he doesn't even want to be here. He's fired. So that way I think if he needs to get fired to get the money. You can't just quit. You can't just walk away and still get paid. He needs to be fired.
Yeah. Interesting strategy there, Cliff, to tell him, like, yeah, I'm going to try and quit so that way that you fire me before I quit.
Of course, it's close to Kingsbury. You're saying he's thinking about resigning. It's like, but he's never said it.
Yeah. The Cardinals want the highest draft pick possible. They're going to leave that dude there until the last minute possible. And I think that they're about to scrap everything. They're about to scrap everything and hand someone the keys. Someone new is getting the keys. I don't know who's going to be. It might be Sean Payton. Might be someone else. but they're in a situation where the Cardinals have been trying for my entire life. They've had multiple teams that have been close. They want to win. The organization wants to win. So I think Sean Payton's is gonna be a good chance that he has a shot to take over in Arizona.
Send Buddha to Vegas. I'll take him.
No.
Yeah, and he's gonna clean house. Buddha might be a guy that it keeps, but he's gonna clean house. I think D-Hop's probably gonna get traded for sure. Next game. Jaguars and Joe over on the Texans by himself. It's a familiar place for Joe to be sitting. Tony, thoughts on the Jaguars? It just seems like something's changed for Jacksonville, and they're going to win this game because they should win this game.
The Texans have been what was the stat I heard this week? They've won 9 straight or something crazy like that. Maybe Joe knows, and that's why he picked them. But they've been dominating the Jaguars for a while. But they were dominating your grandfather's Jaguars, not the Trevor Lawrence-led Jaguars.
Yeah.
And I do think that this week they get a big statement. They set up the game that will be pushed into Sunday Night Football. I believe it will be Jacksonville and Tennessee, because that game will be for the 4th seed. It's not going to be for a wild card seed, the Lions and Packers. They're going to put that game, Titans-Jags, for a division title on the line in Sunday Night Football. This is one of those things where Texans tread lightly, because you have a good point. You have a good case study on the other side. Jaguars tanked, got Trevor Lawrence. They're headed in the right direction. You screw around and win enough of these games, and all of a sudden you don't have the first pick of the draft or whatever it is. And there isn't a Trevor Lawrence in this draft, but just lay down. And you can still die with dignity. You can still play hard and lose games like you've been. Don't lose enough to lose control of the first overall pick and whatever that might be. Just get it. Just go ahead, just in case. Bryce Young balled out in the bowl here game. Maybe Will Levis dominates. Whoever it is, just get the first pick.
Yeah, pick up your choice of quarterback. Remember, a couple of years ago, I think there was a Jaguars-Jets game late in the year that flipped it. And that changed for the Jaguars and the Jets between Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. So it's dramatic. Yeah, it's dramatic. It's dramatic. Joe, you're going with the Texans?
Yeah. I know Doug Peterson has come out and he said, there's never a meaningless game. Never, ever, ever. You play to win the game. This is the same dude that took Nate Sudfeld and took bench Jalen Hurts for Nate Sudfeld a couple years ago. Come on, Doug Peterson. There's never a meaningless game. Get your ass on out of here. Jacksonville Jaguars have been playing hot. They're one of the hottest teams in the league right now. But the Houston Texans, you guys know this. They hang with every damn team they play. They have nobody over there, no superstars. They're just hanging with you. They're just a hard coached team. And Lovey, you gonna tell me that Lovey Smith's not gonna be ready for us? Houston has won. Tony, you're right. Nine times. The last 9 times Jacksonville and Houston played together, Houston has won 9 times, including 1 time already this year. They already beat them once. They're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. Come on down to Houston and get your ass whooping, Jacksonville. And because here's the point. Here's the thing. I know it's not Doug Peterson wants his team to play hard. He has a young team and he has to get them to play hard. And you can't do what the Tennessee Titans did on Thursday because your team is not a veteran ready team like the Tennessee Titans are. The Tennessee Titans can get ready for next week. But Jacksonville has that young team and needs to get that momentum. But if you get down by 10, 14 points and Trevor Lawrence is taking a couple of these hits, are you really just going to be like, oh, no, we got to win this game? No, you're going to be like, hey, pull it back. We'll wait for next week.
I was reading, so you asked me a question. I kind of heard it, and I kind of didn't. So rephrase it again, or
I'm just saying, if the Texans jump out to an early lead, or it's a close game and it's like 7-3 going into the fourth quarter, or third quarter, or Texans have a good lead, and you can tell the Texans are getting this game. Do you think that Jacksonville finally goes, all right, we'll just pull them because we don't need Trevor Lawrence getting hurt before the next week?
No, I don't think that Doug Peterson is thinking anything about except for making his team better and competing, and every snap and every moment means something to this team because they need experience and they need to be headed in the right direction. I want to address Hayden's comment here. Firing Lovie Smith would be a terrible idea. A third coach in 3 seasons. Yeah. The team is playing really hard for Lovie Smith. The defense is playing with less talent, but they're getting good results. They're playing really hard. firing Lovie Smith, Lovie Smith might not be the coach you have for the next couple of decades, but he definitely deserves another year after the what you put out there this year, because he made a tough decision. He could have said, well, we're going to run Rex Burkhead and we're not going to give carries to Dameon Pierce. He said, no, we're going to let the rookie compete. And he went out there and won the job. And now you know that you have a franchise running back on your team. John Mechie's going to be there next year. Like, they have pieces in a bad AFC South where, yes, if they go out and decide to get a veteran quarterback, let's say Ryan Tannehill's on the market, or they go get themselves Geno Smith or somebody they put and they get a veteran who's going to run the offense the correct way, the Texans could mess around and win 8 or 9 games next year and be headed in the right direction. They need to use the top round picks, I believe, this year on defense. They'd be best served to go get themselves a Will Anderson if they are first overall in this draft. Get themselves a beast defensive end. But firing Lovie is not the answer for the Texans. It's just not. You can't have 3 head coaches in 3 years. I mean, what are you, the Raiders? You don't want to be a dumpster fire. Don't be bad.
And I think, Tony, that's probably a good strategy for them to build this defense first, build the offensive line first, and then pick your quarterback. I would love to see Lovie Smith and my boy C. Will team up. I love to see Caleb Williams on the Texans next year. But I just know that recipe doesn't usually work for teams. You bring in the rookie, you ask him to start year 1 on a shit team, and it just kind of derails things. I want to see the Texans get a pass rusher. They landed that Petrie pick, and I think they landed that Stingley pick. The secondary is going to be good in the future. They got 2 stars, I think, future stars in the secondary. It's just not – they don't have enough to win this game. The Jaguars, I think, are going to smoke them. I think the Jaguars will be sitting their stars at the end of the game, Joe. I do, but it's not going to be the same.
Their best player on defense has been 34-year-old Jerry Hughes, who a lot of people thought was done in Buffalo, and he's still playing good football. Like, Jerry Hughes he's a good football player, and he would have more meaning on a playoff team. Like, if Jerry Hughes was on the Chiefs, it would make their defense a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go on to the next one here. Another one that it kind of seems self-explanatory, like that Atlanta-Arizona game. Let us know in the chat for all these games, by the way, who you guys got winning. And if you're new to the channel, please, before you forget, right now, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We go live every single week with this. We also do fantasy football shows throughout the season. We talk football all year long, even in the off season. But if you don't have that notification bell on, you're going to miss a lot of our stuff. And it's just a lot of fun having more people in the chat like there are right now, letting us know their opinions. Giants versus Colts. Oh, and also TikTokers on both Joe's TikTok and my TikTok. Come over to the MJT Football YouTube channel. But anyways, Giants versus Colts. The Colts, they're done. It's embarrassing at this point. They, in my opinion, they don't have a chance in this game. Is there anything that we really need to assess here? The Giants, big win for them a couple weeks ago, and I think that they're going to destroy them on the ground and walk away easily winning this game.
Yeah, I think the Giants seal up their playoff berth in this game. And the thing that bothers me the most, and maybe just because there was nothing else to talk about, the idea that Jim Irsay is going to entertain keeping Jeff Saturday around as coach. Like, also, like, what does he really have? There's a weird thing that's happening now that there's more access to these teams and there's around the clock coverage. We see how dysfunctional a lot of these situations really are. Like, I thought the Broncos was really stable under the previous ownership, but now they're bringing out like 4 owners to a press conference and going, well, the next owner is going to, the next head coach is going to answer to us. And the Colts, it's like you have Jim Irsay trying to be some version of Jerry Jones, but not nearly as stable at all. Like, Jerry Jones is crazy and erratic, but at least he picks his guys and he backs them for a while. Yeah. He maybe backed Jason Garrett too long. Like, or certain players that he's had there too long. Jim Irsay is like every 15 minutes, like, oh, this gum is old, I'm throwing it out, and I'm putting a new piece of gum at quarterback. What is the direction for the Colts is just terrible. On the other side of the ball, the Giants have figured it out and are headed in the right direction. I hope they keep Saquon Barkley there and give him a contract. I hope that they figure out the quarterback position. I have said to these guys, I think Derek Carr is the perfect quarterback to plug in with the Giants, where next year they're competing for the NFC because they can go out. There's not a lot of good wide receivers that are going to be free agents this year, but you can go in the draft and you can get yourself right away. Imagine if the Giants would have maybe drafted Garrett Wilson instead of the Jets or something like that, or go out and trade for, one of these disgruntled wide receivers to come there. You can do that. You can give up a draft pick and bring it. I think the Giants are heading in the right direction. I don't like the Giants, but they're good.
And I would love to see Derek Carr versus Dak Prescott twice a year. That's like a dream of mine, honestly.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
How many interceptions in that game?
Whew.
A lot from one of the fours. I'll tell you that
much. I don't want to get into this game that much. Jeff Saturday, your only win is going to be against the Raiders. You're not he just proved that he's not a good coach. That's all it is. Brian Dable proving that he is a good coach, that he can get him. And look what he did with Danny Dimes. Tony was saying Danny Dimes was done, and we're going to see him in the XFL next year. Stuff. Danny Dimes proving that he can play at this level with a good coach. So I'm taking the Giants.
You think Danny Dimes is the quarterback for the Giants next year?
No.
He's out of there. Giants are playoff bound, y'all. Get excited. Moving on to Denver versus KC, another one where we're not giving Denver much of a chance. They just got beat by 50 points to Baker Mayfield. It is a shit show in Denver, Tony. It is a shit show. What's your thoughts on this game?
Not only that,
show or
Patrick from SpongeBob was going off on the Broncos all game long.
That was something. That was great.
My thoughts are, I hope the Chiefs make it through the game healthy in this, because it really doesn't mean much other than winning the game and trying to see what happens Monday night with the Bills Bengals, right? I will say this is the thing that I think is going to be interesting. How shitty would it be if Russell Wilson has his best game of the year? Because sometimes a coach gets fired and then the next week the team comes out and lights it up. How big of a slap in the face would it be if Russ just comes out? Because it's a perfect storm. The pass defense for the Chiefs is not very good. So it sets up where he could have his best game of the season, and he's out there diming him up for 400 yards and 4 TDs, and Patrick Mahomes has to play hero and win a game 38-21 in the fourth quarter, but all of a sudden everybody's like, see, Hackett was the problem. I don't really think that's the case, but I do think that sometimes people, they dig a little bit deeper to show, like, we're glad that guy's gone, and we do have some fight left in us. And if Russ does that to Hackett, that's dirty. That's not nice.
Well, Russell Wilson's play got Nathaniel Hackett fired.
Yeah,
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Russell Wilson's play got him fired. Maybe they thought it was going to work. It didn't. But Tony, if you're correct and he comes out here and he's cooking, that's going to look horrible.
There's conspiracies that he was kind of like tanking to get the coach fired. So that would basically make all those conspiracies true. Oh, here's a good one. Here is a good one. This is a game that is very important for both these teams. The Panthers and the Bucks both absolutely need to win this game as far as the division title goes, which a team's going to win this division a game under 500. I think that's what's about to happen. You guys are both going with the Panthers. I'll let you make your cases. I'll tell you what my case is. I'm going with the Bucks because they have the best football player in the history of the sport, and he just finds a way to win. And even in games where it pisses me off and I'm banging my head against the wall the last couple of weeks for the Bucks, they just come out like it's rigged, and just all of a sudden the offense can move the ball when they need it to most. So it's going to happen again. It's going to be a close game. This is going to be 19-16 Bucks.
So I picked the Bucks, and then I went back through and I looked at it again. I said, you know what? The only reason I'm picking the Bucks is because of all the stuff Mike just said. Well, they have Tom Brady, and they figure it out late and whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, no. I've been picking with the Panthers more often than not in these type of situations, and they win. And I didn't do it against the Lions, which I should have, and I think they're going to do it again this week. I think that they really do play hard with Wilkes, and they're going to find a way to win this game. They're going to run the ball. That'll be enough there. I think that Sam Darnold will use his athletic ability to pick up a couple of first downs, and for whatever reason, they just the thing that scares me a little bit is the J.C. Horn injury. Josh Norman has been signed. I'm not sure what Josh Norman has left at the position, but like, what have the Bucks done for me to be like, oh, I should pick the Bucks and I should feel good? Nothing. The only reason you pick them is because Tom Brady's going to run a 2-minute drill at the end of the game to throw a touchdown or get. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going with the team that I think overall is better, and to me right now, that's the Panthers.
And everyone, let us know in the chat, this one especially. This is a controversial game. Let us know your score predictions or who you got winning this one in the chat. Joe, also with the Panthers. Anything to add other than what?
I'm not apologizing to Harrison because your team sucked when we picked them, and we all went all three in, and we tried to do it. So I'm not apologizing. I just think the Panthers are the better team in this matchup. I think they're going to come out fired, ready to go. The Buccaneers have looked like crap. And Tom Brady, where the hell is Mike Evans? Where's Mike Evans? Like, are you forgetting who Mike Evans is? Like, he hasn't scored a touchdown. You guys know when the last time Mike Evans scored a receiving touchdown? October 2nd. October 2nd was the last time. He only has one game where he went over, or 2 games, my bad. 2 games over 100 yards. Like, they're forgetting who Mike Evans is. And I'm worried because there's 2 games left in the season, this week and next week. And Mike Evans, he's at 917 yards. Can he get over 1,000 yards for, what is it going to be? How many years does he have in?
10.
I don't know.
Right.
10?
10 straight seasons over 1,000 yards.
Well, he's going for that, but I'm like, where's Mike Evans, dude? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I don't know. I've always backed Mike Evans, and I'm just wondering where the disappearing act went. And I'm afraid that Carolina could shut him down again. So that's what I'm going with.
You know what? Let's get the full jinx going. I'm not going to change my pick, but I'm going to change my moral pick. I'm rooting for the Panthers to win, Harrison. So that way there's 3 people on the Panthers, jinxing the Panthers. Mike Evans going to hit his 1,000 yards in this game, and the Bucks are going to win. Watch
Did you see Harrison just do a fun fact at you right there?
He said that he sent this to me also.
Okay, so
I didn't know that.
I don't know how much of a fun fact. That's a sad fact.
Very
I will
sad.
say that
sorry.
This is what makes it better. I want the Cowboys in the 5th seed to lose to the Panthers because if they lose to Tom Brady, everybody just goes, "Oh, well, it's Tom Brady. What do you expect? He's the greatest of all time." But if they lose to Sam Darnold in the first week of the playoffs, Cowboys.
Don't start this. He's putting that down there right now. This is exactly my point, instant replay, is that we're asking for Derek Carr defense while we put down Dak Prescott. They have very similar stats, except for Dak has been on a contending team this entire time, and Derek Carr has been on a stinky team this entire time. And, you know, they're the leaders of their team. They wear the same number. They're about the same height. They're pretty similar. And if I was ranking these guys, I'd probably rank them 13 and 14 or 12 and 13, something like that. On to Chicago in Detroit. I'm the only one taking the Bears. You guys really think the Lions are going to win a game that they should win?
Yes, the Lions are going to win this game because I'm starting Jared Goff in fantasy, and that's what I need inside the dome. Multiple touchdowns to Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Lions are going to win this game, and they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to overcome and make the playoffs. They're going to be 9-8. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win out. That's all. I don't know. Last week's game was a hiccup that everything was trending in the right way, and then all of a sudden, in the first half, the wheels just fell off, and they forgot how to play run defense. I don't know what happened. Aaron Glenn's defense was trending in the right direction, and then all of a sudden, whoop, it went bad. But I'm going back to the Lions. Jared Goff plays better at home. The last 2 games have been on the road in the cold. Not great for him. I think back inside the dome against a banged-up, bad Bears defense, he's able to put up 35 points in this game. And they beat the Bears, 35-28.
Show some grit, right? Joe, you don't want to go with Justin Fields with me? Come on, man.
No, I think Justin Fields is going to have a hell of a game. I do. And David Blau is playing for the Lions, right? He's a starting quarterback. Fun fact, this is the most quarterbacks with –
Goff is out?
Goff's not playing.
What?
Go Lions! Let's go on to the next game.
David Blau with David Blau starting and Jared Stidham starting. This is the most starting different quarterbacks the NFL has seen in a season since like 1950 or something, or since their last strike. When was the last strike? 1993, the big strike.
I don't know.
You just rocked my world, Joe. I was depending on Jared Goff.
Yeah, I believe David Blau is starting.
So McDaniels created something nice then.
What is happening?
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong.
David Blau becomes the 64th NFL starting quarterback this year. 64 starting quarterbacks this year.
See, Josh McDaniels did create a record-breaking season.
I can't.
Yeah, he did.
How much? This is fantasy football sucks.
Oh
yeah, because that's not.
But what is the Bears? What does the Bears offense run on right now? It's their running game. Except for the Panthers game, the Detroit Lions have been able to shut down the run since their bye week. I'm going to go with that again. They're going to be able to shut down the run, and they're going to beat. And I like Justin Fields. Don't get me wrong. I think Justin Fields is going to have at least 2 touchdowns in this game. I just think the Lions, even with David Blau, are going to be okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking the Bears, is because the Lions have been good against the run. That's the only thing their defense has been good against. This is an abstract version of a run game in the NFL. Justin Fields is not just stepping back there and running QB draws. He's making 5 defensive tackles miss and then running. So it's going to be different.
I might switch this pick.
No. This is a good game for you guys to keep rocking with the Lions, and they're going to the playoffs and all that great stuff that we talk about. And by the way, I just want to say that this is a breaking point for our predictions also. I had 6 wins for the Lions. They've already passed that, but I'm only 1 game off. I think Tony had 7 wins for the Lions.
I had 8.
Joe had 10. 8? Yeah, so right now they're in between me and Tony, and they would need to win 2 more for Joe to be most accurate in that prediction or lose out, which is what they're going to do for me to most.
Tony's going to cry. It's all right, Tony. Cry, baby, cry.
Tony, you're going to win your championship. Don't worry, but don't switch that pick, please. On to New Orleans in Philly. This is obviously a heated rivalry game. These two teams always go at it. There's always fists thrown in these games, it feels like. We're all rocking with the...
Wait, Joe, where are you getting this shit from? Because David Blau, he's not even on the team anymore. He's on like the Vikings practice squad or something. Did they pull
Look it up, Tony.
Oh, my.
Continue, Mike. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Google's free.
I don't
make you pay for Google. Google's free, Tony. Go look.
Lions injury report. Jared Goff is not on the injury report.
Just, move on. Joe's got me stressed out over here for no reason. Next.
Go Lions. That's all we got to say. Eagles, Tony. Saints don't got a chance this one. The Saints did pull out a victory against the Browns, but this ain't the Browns. And the Eagles offense showed that even with Gardner Minshew and 4 turnovers from Gardner Minshew, they can still score. So I think
Tony,
the Eagles are going to win easily.
I am messing with you, but Tony, I am right. David Blau started, but he started for the Arizona Cardinals.
There we go. I knew he was. Oh my goodness, Joe. I want to win. And here's the thing, because I have Jalen Hurts and I'm trying to win a fantasy championship. I'm trying to bring home the belt for MJT. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm starting Jared Goff and I'm a little stressed out about it because I want to win. I'm competitive and I need to win.
I know a lot of people have Jared Goff starting this week, so it's good to mess with them.
Damn.
A lot of people and I think Detroit brings home a lot. A lot of people, I don't know. A lot of people have been sending me their lineups. They have Goff and they have St. Brown. So Detroit's going to bring some championship homes this week.
Agreed. I almost switched over to join Mike on the idiot side.
I almost got you to switch over, Tony. And then I would have brought the news out that you were wrong, and then by then you couldn't switch back.
Eagles. Are we talking about the Eagles or not?
Sit all the Lions. Sit all the Lions. Sit them all. Championships in Detroit. What are we talking about?
Fantasy championships.
Fantasy, everything in between. Sit them. Anyways, Eagles. Do we need to talk about this game? Because I want to talk about the next game more than any game. Because speaking of messing with people, it is not a joke. Jared Stidham is playing for the Raiders, but
the only thing that I want to say about this game is they need to lock up the number 1 seed. And I think that the Eagles need to do that. And the interesting thing is going to be how well this team can play if Jalen Hurts hasn't played football in a month at that point. But they do need the bye. They need the bye for many positions. They need to lock up the 1 seed. And they need to put the Saints out of their misery too. Like the Saints are still in it, right?
Technically.
They technically could still win. Put the Saints out of their misery.
The Saints are still mathematically alive to win their division, yes.
Yeah, they're one game behind, but the Panthers or the Bucks are going to get a win this week, so that hurts their chances a lot. Joe, I have a question. You've gotten on this show, you've come on this program, and you have told these people for months how shitty and overrated the Niners are and how they don't deserve any credit for any of the teams they've played and beat this year and how they're lucky as they ever can be. But then come the week where they're playing the Raiders, you're taking the Niners to win. For the first time this year, you picked against the Raiders, by the way, against the Niners.
I'm telling you, every week, guys, invite Joe to Nuts and Bolts.
No.
Everybody's going to come on here and they'll be like, why is Joe picking the Niners? Why is Joe picking the Niners? Vegas has moved the spread up. No Derek Carr, no Denzel Perryman, no Rock Yun-Sin, no Chandler Jones. Everybody's out here and you guys are like, Joe, come on. You're a Raider fan. You can't go and pick the 49ers. You can't do it. You're a Raider fan. You don't believe in Jared Stidham. You don't believe in this coaching staff. Look at the Niners are the number one team right now. They have a quarterback. I don't even know his name because every 49er fan that I know calls him a third string quarterback. Do you guys know who his name is? Because I just call him third string quarterback like the 49er fans. I just want to be like these average casual Niner fans. I just want to jump on board and be a bandwagon. Can I do that one time, Mike? Can I just be a bandwagon fan? Oh, that's what all Niner fans, they're like, we're going to take over the stadium in Allegiant Stadium. There's going to be 70% 49er fans in Allegiant Stadium. It's going to be us. You know why, Mike? Because New Year's Day, the cool thing to do is to be a Niner fan. Let's start 2023 off as a Niner fan. Go to Walmart because that's where they sell that shit at. Go to Walmart, grab your San Francisco 49er shirt, throw that on, or go to Goodwill, or go to your mom's closet. I don't know where you hide your stuff because 49er fans only come out this time of year, right, when they're winning. And all these casual 49er fans are going to come out. And the cool thing to do is to be in Vegas. And so I'm going to take the 49ers to win the game. I'm going to take the 49ers to beat the Raiders this week. Hell no, I ain't taking no damn 49ers, Mike. Oh, I got you guys now. The Raiders, it don't matter who's starting for the Raiders. The Raiders coming for the 49ers ass this weekend. You got the GOAT, the savior, the guy, Brock Purdy, the mystery relevant. He's going to run and get his ass chased by Max motherfucking Crosby. Max Crosby going to be all over Brock Purdy this weekend, and it's not going to look good. San Francisco, you think the Raiders are scared of your number one defense? Hell no. They put up points on the Denver Broncos. They put up points on everybody they play, except for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll take that one out. But San Francisco, you're going to overlook the Raiders. You're going to be like, oh, we're already good. We're going for that number 2 seed. No, you're going to get spanked. Kyle Shanahan is going to get out-coached by who? Josh motherfucking McDaniels. And the Raiders upset the 49ers this weekend. And all 70% of you guys that go and take out and they red out Allegiant Stadium going to be ripping those shirts off because they just bought them like last week. And be like, I'm done with the Niners. Why did I even jump off? And they're going to go back to wearing their little keychain because that's what makes you a 49er faithful. You just got to carry a keychain around all year, and you're a badass 49er fan. But the Raiders win this weekend.
That was great.
Yeah.
I only have one complaint. How come in the real graphic, by the way, I got smaller? You got bigger over there on the Raiders side, and I got smaller than everybody on the 49ers side.
I did it on purpose. Like, if you look at the two graphics, I did it on purpose. Like we're all small, and then bam! Right there.
That was what I was gonna say. Was Joe made this thing where earlier in the year I picked the Niners against the Chargers in the game. He's like, you never pick against your team, and I'm like, there's a difference between picking who you think is going to win the game and who you're cheering for. Those things are separate. Joe, you guys are going to get beaten into submission. Like, quit. There is going to be a 25-point lead at some point in this game where they're going to be sitting Brock Purdy so that he doesn't get injured. This is going to be an epic proportions beatdown of the Raiders because you guys have Josh Jacobs, who has a chance to win a rushing title, going, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this shit. I don't even want to be here anymore. You have Devontae Adams being like, what did I come here for? This place is a joke. You've had questions about Darren Waller yourself. Like, all the players on this team are looking around going, what the hell are we doing here? And the 49ers are the best defense in the league. And Jared Stidham, really, Joe? You're going to put him out there? He might have a couple of good series or whatever. This shit ain't going to last long. This is going to be a beatdown of epic proportions, and I can't wait to watch it.
Mike, you got to see Jared Stidham live at the Hall of Fame game, tear up the Jacksonville Jaguars in the preseason, and we can say, oh, that's preseason, but Jared Stidham was traded for a reason. They brought him into Las Vegas for a reason. It was all part of the plan of Josh McDaniels' plan of calling shitty plays all season to have Derek Carr look bad, and you already know the NFL scripted. And what's the better way to smack down the 49ers is to make them lose right before the playoffs and say Brock Purdy ain't that good, right? Because you lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. And look, everybody in the chat, I love it. Everybody in the chat is they were like, oh, Joe, you had me. I was going to be, my wife was all mad. She was going to come up here and kick my ass because I was going to pick the 49ers. But there ain't no way I'm taking the 49ers. 10 points is a spread. Anytime a team has 10 points, a 10-point spread, Tony, it always ends up bad for them. You already know that. 10-point spread, the Raiders, I'm just going to tell you right now, adversity brings the best out of people. And the Raiders going to come out here and just, we're going to win. We're going to win. Come on, Tony, dance. Raiders, Raiders, Raiders. Unless
you ripped the heart and soul out of your organization. You're
gonna go. You want to be one of those cool kids, Tony. You want to be. It's popular right now. It's popular to put on a 49er fan jersey. It's popular. So if you want to, I've been a 49er fan since the Kaepernick days, guys. Since the Kaepernick days.
Beatdown. That was a beatdown of epic proportions.
The Raiders should sign you, Joe. That was a great display of stamina. This was impressive. This whole segment was the best Raiders segment that we've ever had on this channel. Warzone, MJP, NFL Mike, Joe Morley, this was the best segment we've ever had just because of how long you were able to just go. It's like it's all stored up in there. I thought I hated a team. You really hate the Niners.
I loathe the Niners.
Tony, we got a free win. That means we're down 2.
Hey, I don't care. If you guys get a free win, you get a free win. But I constantly say, I'm a true Raider fan. I'm a fan of my team. And you guys do the same thing with the Chargers. There's no ifs and or well, Tony didn't do it. Tony's a faker because Tony just became a segment. But I'm just saying, I don't give a damn if the Raiders were 0-16 going into this game. I'm picking the Raiders to win the game. Because on any given Sunday, anything can happen, especially in a rigged, scripted NFL. And apparently you guys didn't get the paperwork because I already got the script for this weekend. It's right here. Raiders over Niners, right here.
Script say about the New York Jets versus the Seattle Seahawks. Speaking of sinking with ships, Joe, like you're sinking with the Raiders ship, Tony's sinking with the Jets ship. Tony, you think the Jets are going to win They're 1-5 in their past 6 games. How many times have you picked them in their past 6 games?
I think I picked them 4 of the games. 4 of the 6. Yeah, 4 of those games.
You got them in Seattle?
I think the same thing that you think the Jets is sinking. I think both of these teams have kind of fallen off a lot from where they were at. The difference for me is that Mike White has been the most functioning QB in this offense of all 4 that they've started. Even the Stevler, broke down Tim Tebow that they ran the week before. But the best unit in this game is the Seahawks defense and is the pass game. And I think Sauce is going to be able to hang enough with DK Metcalf in this game. If Tyler Lockett is not back, even if he is, who is it? DJ Reed on the other side has been playing nice corner. They have another nice cornerback in the slot there. I just think the Jets secondary is the best. They'll be able to go on the road, get a win, 20-16 type football game. And that's why I'm going down with the Jets ship. That Mike White is enough to get this team back on track and potentially making the playoffs in Week 18.
I don't care. Somebody just said Seahawks are 1-5 in their last 6 games or whatever. I don't care. Seattle Seahawks going to beat down the New York Football Jets. We all knew the time would come for the Jets to start going downhill. This is that time. When I don't know why. I just think the Seahawks do better. They come out here and they dominate this game. Jets have lost the momentum already.
I think the biggest thing for me is I think that Pete Carroll is going to be able to slow down this Jets offense. They're one of the worst offenses in the league, especially over the last couple of months. And I know that the Seattle offense itself has not been red hot like it was early on in the year, but just Geno Smith being able to move around and create some extra time, I think that's going to help out DK and the other receivers in the receiving corps to get some open down the field passing going. I think I'm pretty comfortable with the Seahawks, but the Jets obviously are a team that is sneaky just because of that defense that Tony referenced. Let us know in the chat who you guys got, Seahawks or Jets. This is a close one, an important one for both these teams. Even if both these teams miss the playoffs, this feels like how are these teams – everyone's watching. How are these guys going to finish their year? What's it going to look like next year for both these teams? So this is a big game, I think, for both these guys going in the same direction, trying to rebuild these rosters. On to Minnesota. Oh, great. Joe with the Vikings. Minnesota on the road in Green Bay. Me and Tony going with, I think, the at-home underdog Packers over the Vikings. Tony, you're with me, right? Aaron Rodgers is scripted to get the 7 seed. Oh, no, you just said the Lions are going to get the 7 seed. So you're not with me. Oh, by the way, everyone in the chat, let us know who you guys have for these games. And make sure you subscribe while you're here. Don't forget to subscribe. We have fun like this every single week on the channel. But anyways, go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
Packers are favored at home. You gotta remember the odds makers. The Vikings barely win when they're at home. They barely win when they're on the road. They keep winning all these crazy football games. So in Lambeau, Packers are headed in the right direction. The thing for Green Bay that's really got them going in the right direction is the defense is playing better. Kirk Cousins on the road. Lambeau's cold. I just think that I'm siding with the better story almost. Like for what, like the Vikings aren't really going to move either way in this. I think that they still are the 2 seed in the NFC, even with a loss in this game. So like, I don't think it's going to make them move that way. Green Bay needs this to make things interesting with the Lions in Week 18. That's enough to where they get the ball going. They get it headed in the right direction. Romeo Doubs has a big game. Romeo Doubs. We circle back to what we were all excited about in the preseason. A couple of big touchdowns in this football game.
And I think there's even more the Packers are playing for also. Christian Watson is in the thick of things with Garrett Wilson in the Rookie of the Year race. I think he's going to have a good game. And I think the Packers – I think the Packers caught a break last week. And that break might give them some confidence going into this game that they can close out this game if it's close. They caught a break when Tua got hurt, honestly, and continued on in the game. But Joe, Vikings, I'm going to let you go ahead. I just want to get the Packers out of the way because the Vikings should win. They're a better team right now.
Look at Willie. Willie wearing that purple shirt, and he said he's going with the Vikings as well. You guys know I picked the Vikings were my NFC favorite at the beginning of this year, and I'm not going to back down from it. That's the one thing that you get from me is I don't back down from the takes that I put out there. The Vikings, I said, how many games, Mike? I said the Vikings were going to win 14 games this year. And I told you they were going to win their division. And the Green Bay Packers have been playing better as lately. And Tony's right. The defense finally, what we thought the Green Bay defense was going to be at the beginning of the year has finally showed up. But it's not enough. It's not enough to stop my guy, Justin Jefferson, and the MVP, Kirk Cousins, right here running. That's why I put Kirk Cousins on the graphic. You guys saw our little thumbnail? Kirk Cousins is on the graphic. Kirk Cousins has made it. He's made it. The Minnesota Vikings make a statement here this week, and they come out here, and I think they dominate the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh, we'll see. Yeah, it is going to be an interesting game. Both these teams in different spots, and they've kind of flipped from what we're used to seeing, where the Vikings are trying to sneak into the playoffs, and the Packers are usually the odds-on favorites and battling for the number 1 seed. It's completely flipped on its head this year. It's crazy how quick things can change in the sport of football. Also, a little bit of extra fuel in the fire. Jair Alexander said that Justin Jefferson's opening game against the Packers, where he put up like 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, was a fluke. I don't know how much that motivates Justin Jefferson hearing Jair Alexander say that, the guy who's going to be covering him. But he said that it was a fluke, so we'll see that battle again. Here we go. Speaking of which, I saw the news break by 0, but I saw it go across my phone. I wanted to save it for this game. The Chargers, breaking news, by the way, guys, live on the air. Here's a reaction. The Chargers have cut Sony Michel.
What?
To make room on their roster for Joey Bosa to return tomorrow. I am ecstatic to see 97 on that football field. And sorry that Sony is the one that has to suffer, but let's go.
Sony the Pony. That's not really that shocking because he doesn't offer anything on special teams, which Roundtree does. And he wasn't a young, like a 4th-round pick like Isaiah Spiller. So it makes sense. They brought him here. It didn't work out the way that I had hoped that it would in the run game. I don't believe it's his fault. I still think Sony Michel can add value to certain football teams. And there's a couple of teams I hope don't claim him and don't put him on their roster, right? There's some playoff teams that could use a forceful short down running back like that. Anyways.
The chat's going crazy, Mike. They can't believe Sony Michel got cut. Sony Michel got cut?
Sony the Pony. Welcome back, Bosa. I just want the Chargers to get out of this game healthy. Joe, I hope you have a great big speech where you pick Baker Mayfield, your daddy, the guy who owns you, 17-16, one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history from a few weeks ago. You know it well. Chargers win this game easily.
You're talking about this Baker Mayfield, right? This Baker Mayfield?
Yes.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going with them, Tony. And I know they want to play spoiler, but there ain't nothing special against them. Unless Cam Akers can somehow go off for like 300 yards and become the inner Derrick Henry that he wishes he was. Cam Akers and the Rams get beat down this week. At least they should. But we all know how the Chargers are, right? There's always the Chargers and the chokers coming out.
The Chargers, you said the exact same thing last
But you better hope that you guys beat Baker Mayfield, because if not, all this shit that you gave me about not being Baker Mayfield, all this shit that you guys, all this Christmas gifts that I got with Rams and Baker Mayfield stuff, you better hope the Chargers win. You better hope the Chargers beat Baker Mayfield.
This game doesn't matter for the Chargers, honestly. I think that they should win soundly. I think they should win by the 3rd quarter of this game. Get out of it safely, get the offense going, get the offense off the field. But yeah, again, like the Rams playing spoiler, they're not spoiling anything for the Chargers at this point. We've locked our playoff spot 2 weeks ago in the season, and it's more about, like we were talking about on Nuts and Bolts, staying healthy is the number 1 priority. Number 2 is getting the offense going. Number 3 is getting Joey Bosa back in the flow of things, and like number 4 is winning the game. So hopefully that all that comes true for the Chargers, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. And the Chargers should win this game, though, just because of the better team. The Rams feel like they're a team right now with a bunch of tryouts going on. Yeah. A bunch of guys that are increasing their trade value for the Rams. So hopefully that continues for their sake, because they need to flip all these guys for as many picks as they can get.
I think the Rams have a bunch of players competing for cheap roster spots next year on the team, where it's like they need to find ways to plug in guys that can get results that are on affordable deals. Like that is going to be their key to sustaining relevancy. Is
also
healthy Stafford.
Yeah, I think that this Rams team will score 10 points or so. They're going to score a touchdown, maybe 2, and it's going to be Cam Akers. And Cam Akers, after all of that roller coaster ride, became a fantasy football championship league winner. Just want to say you were right, Tony, and I want to applaud you for your take.
I know that you keep rubbing it in, and I would like you to know, F you from the bottom of my.
I don't know what it is, but there's just players where I just see something and I go, I can't. No, not touching them. And Cam Akers has always been one of those guys. I don't know what it is. He's a fiery player. I like the way he runs the football, but just even in the playoff run last year, I was like, I don't think that I'm going to be drafting Cam.
Mike, you always make Harrison feel like he's a Charger fan.
Bolt up, Harrison. Also, I saw someone in there said that they're only a Charger fan because of me. That makes me honored because that's my whole purpose in life is to turn as many fans of other teams into Chargers fans, especially Raiders fans. And I think that I'm starting to make some progress. I am. Anyways, Pittsburgh on the road in Baltimore. This is a massive game for the Steelers if they want a chance to, one, keep Mike Tomlin's winning season streak alive, but two, and probably more importantly to Mike Tomlin than any kind of streak, make the playoffs. You guys are both rocking with Pittsburgh. These two teams are separated by 2 points with their third-string quarterbacks a couple weeks ago. I think this game could go either way, honestly. But what's your thoughts, Tony?
The Steelers are just in a better spot right now. Like, even though that they technically have something to play for, I think they are playing more for just Mike Tomlin, right? And in Pittsburgh and the tradition and everything as a whole. Like, yeah, sure, they still have like an outside shot to make the playoffs, but they want to have a winning record for Mike Tomlin. I think that means something to the players, right? It means something to Cam Hayward every year that he's been there. He's also never suffered a losing season for whatever that means. Like, really, to these guys, it's get money, take care of your family, win games, and have pride. Like the Super Bowl, like that's it. Even if you make it, like that's what you're playing for. It's the big paydays and the Super Bowls. So like, it's all meaningless, but then you have to find little things to keep you motivated. And I think crushing a division opponent on the road while they're a little bit hampered, it means a lot to them. For the Ravens, they're already in the playoffs. Seeding doesn't matter. Like, I think the Steelers have more in this game. They win the game.
Joe? I was originally going with the Baltimore Ravens, and then I just kept going. And like I said, I can't go against Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is a good coach, and Baltimore Ravens have been on the decline, and we've seen it the last couple of years. That towards the end of the season, the Ravens and explode on themselves. So I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're fighting. They're playing good. They're doing what they got to do out there. And I'm not going against Mike Tomlin, who I consider one of the best coaches in NFL history.
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 like you are, Joe, on this game. I'm giving the edge to the home team Ravens, to the team that kind of has the Chargers on their heels. I think for the Ravens, looking at the seeding is mattering a lot more than it does for teams like the Chargers or even whoever gets in to the 7th seed in the AFC. It could be the Steelers if they could pull off this victory, just because this is a team that like doesn't quite belong if they don't have Lamar Jackson. It doesn't quite belong. And I think this game's going to be close. Both these teams have played like 13-10, 16-13 type of games. And I'm going with the home team to just pull out an upset. And I kind of knew in the back of my head that you guys were going to take the Steelers. So it's also a little bit of a strategic play on my part.
To get that L. Get that L. I don't understand what the hell you guys are doing in this game. When I was making this, I was like, okay, I'll take the W.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is not a strategic play. I think the Bengals are the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC right now, other than the Los Angeles Chargers. Tony, it seems like you're with me on this Cincinnati team at home versus Buffalo. This is a big game for the AFC seeding and race for the 1 seed.
Yeah, this is basically all what it comes down to, because the Chiefs have 2 pretty winnable games. I forget, they have like an easy win in the final week of the season. I can't remember who they play, but I just remember looking at it and going, there's no way they lose this game.
Oh,
and this week they have the Broncos. So it's like they're pretty locked up. They're going to win out. And then the Bills, who have the 1 seed, this is their hurdle, because in the final week they have a division opponent that I looked at and was like, well, this isn't very tough. The Bengals would need help to get to the 1 seed. The reason I'm picking the Bengals in this game is because I don't trust the Bills to continue to do what helped them win last week, which was run the football. Now, I think it would be tougher to run against the Bengals than their opponent from last week, but that doesn't really matter. Like, who did they play last week? They played the Dolphins or whatever it was. Like, whoever they played the previous week. It helped them win the football.
Yeah. They almost lost that game, too.
Do that. Run the ball in the game and get the win. They're not going to do it at home. I think they win by, this is a good game. It's a competitive game. but I'm going to take the Bengals to win the game at home.
Joe, Buffalo.
Buffalo's still fighting. They still have something to fight for. They're still going for that number 1 seed. This is when they lock it up. This is when they say thank you very much. And not only do they do that, they also send a message to the AFC like, hey, this is the number 3 team. This is all you got. This is all you got for us in the AFC. This is our year. This is our year. And they have a chip on their shoulder, the Buffalo Bills, and we all keep doubting them, and we find ways to doubt them. And we even talk about their running game, but Singletary keeps showing up every week and doing his thing. The reporter, did you see that reporter call out Josh Allen and say the offense doesn't look like a Super Bowl offense? And he was like, okay, cool, okay, because they have that. They know when they step on the field, they're going to win. The Cincinnati Bengals are playing good. They've been a good team. They went to the Super Bowl last year, but they don't have the it factor like the Buffalo Bills. That's what I'm going to say. That's all how I'm going to end it. But go ahead, Mike. Buffalo Bills. I'll take this free win in the pickups. I'll take it, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys shooting it over.
Well, that will make up for the other free win that we got. So we're even Steven now. But I think the opposite, honestly, Joe. I think the Bills are going to lose because the Bengals have the it factor. The complete opposite. I think that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and this offense is the it factor. And I've seen in multiple games now when they asked Josh Allen to go crazy, he's been making mistakes. And we know that we had that game in KC last year. That's the only one that I've seen him in a shootout, whether win or loss, where he doesn't make a key mistake at the end of the game or the offense has a hard time late in the game. I cite the Vikings game when I talk about games like this for the Buffalo Bills and heading into the playoffs. Why I'm worried about the Bills getting eliminated by whoever they play first. At the end of games, Josh Allen makes mistakes. He makes mistakes. Joe Burrow doesn't, and that's what I think is going to happen in this game. Josh Allen is either going to make a mistake late in the game that costs them, or it's just going to be we're going to look at the end of the game and go, Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions. Josh Allen threw an interception and fumbled in these key moments when they were about to score a touchdown, and the Bengals won by 3 points because of that. That's what I think is going to happen.
I can't wait. Joe Burrow versus Justin Herbert, first round of the playoffs.
That'll be a good one. That'll be a good one. Joe Burrow against Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert against Jalen Hurts, Tua, and Joe Burrow is 3-1 in his career. So I cannot wait for that matchup. That's going to be a great one. Herbert's going to win.
Willie, don't be taking Mike's side. You stick with your team. If you're a Buffalo Bill fan, you don't be like, okay, Mike, I'm with you. You stick with your team, Willie.
He's not a Bills fan. He's a Chargers fan. He already said that.
No, he said he roots for the Chargers because of you, but he's a Buffalo Bill fan.
Oh, well, that's awkward. Because I just picked against the Bills and kind of shat on his quarterback.
I'm a Bills fan, but I'm afraid to watch his game. Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks.
And it being in the jungle is just another little sugar to put on top of it all.
Willie, who's better, Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert? Let us know. Mike, really okay, so that was the end of the game. We got to the end of our week. All the games are picked. Somebody's asking a question about your NFL pick'ems. Zero said he wasn't able to put him in this week. I don't know what happened there, Zero, because it still happened. It's still Mike's pick'em challenge is still going. But he says, "Is the pickup? What are you going to do for the playoffs? You want to announce that?"
For the playoffs, yeah, we have another pool, and you got to go and get on the wait list. Zero, we have 125 people in on the wait list already. Basically, what it's going to be is instead of just picking the game straight up, he can spell it right, so it doesn't count. Instead of just picking the game straight up, you have to also do a score prediction for each playoff game. And the people who are most accurate in their score predictions will be winning the prizes on a week-to-week basis. And I'm going to do like a mega autograph mystery box as the grand prize. You can sign up for the standby wait list, or Zero, you're someone that tunes into all of my content. You'll just see me talking about it. Just make sure you put in your picks for the playoffs, the week of the playoffs, once the bracket is set. You do not have to pick for the entire playoffs when you do it. It's going to go week by week still. You can still win the week-to-week, and you can win the overall. So that's what I'm doing for the playoffs. It's going to be exciting. Can't wait. And we do a separate challenge. Like, we'll have a regular season winner, and then us three do our own little thing here.
Yeah, we'll do our own. As you guys can tell in Tony's face, let me show you Tony's face right now. Tony is a big Michigan fan right now, so he has his phone out. He's watching the Michigan game, and by the way I'm looking at him, it's not going good.
No, I have breaking news. Jim Harbaugh is going to be coaching the Denver Broncos next year for about $15 million a season.
Boo.
Well, he should have been coaching already this year. I thought for sure he was going to. Remember, they thought he had the Minnesota Viking job wrapped up when he on his way there, and something happened.
I was hoping the Broncos would give like Adam Gase a swing or something. Maybe
I don't know. What
2-yard line, and he calls like a Philly special, whether it's like a reverse end around wide receiver play when they're like one of the best running football teams in the league, and then the quarterback throws a pick six.
Don't they have like the most insane running? Don't they have the most insane running back in like college football right now?
Blake Corum, I'm not sure if he's playing or not, but it doesn't matter. You still run the football in that area if you're going to go.
Mike, Hayden's asked you this question twice now. Can you answer this before we get off the air?
Yeah, Hayden. I think that they should draft Will Anderson number 1 or whoever they feel is the best edge rusher available. Because personally, the quarterbacks are good this year, but there isn't anyone that's standing out as this is the clear-cut guy to select at number 1 overall. So I think they'd be making a mistake at drafting a quarterback here when the team's not ready for a quarterback anyways. The idea of getting a veteran in there or just continuing to kind of suck at quarterback is fine until you can find a defense and an offensive line and a receiving core first and then plug the quarterback in. That's what the Jets are doing. The Jets are rebuilding the way they should have been this whole time.
Tony Harrison said he's going to give you a hug after this. Let me answer this about Will Anderson. I know we could talk about this in the offseason, but I'll answer it just because we're talking about it. I think Will Anderson drops in the draft. I don't know why. I think they're going to find some stupid stuff about it. I think he's a great player, and I think he should go to number 1, number 2. But I think there's going to be some stuff that they're going to find, and they're going to drop him, and he'll go 8, 9, or 10 around there. That's just my opinion because it always happens where, especially with pass rushers, they find somebody better and that does better in shorts and a t-shirt. But Will Anderson, I think, drops a little bit in the first round.
What if he drops and then the Raiders draft like some second-round guy over him?
Wouldn't put it past him. Alex Leatherwood Jr. coming out?
Yeah, the pick before.
The thing is, well, I think it actually goes more the other way because it's not like he's got the college stats, and then when you see this dude in his shorts and underwear, he's 6'4", and he's rocked. Like this dude is he looks the part. He dominated the part. You'd have to be an idiot to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna pass on this kid. Like he would have been a top 3 pick last year as like a sophomore. It would be one of the biggest misses in the world if they don't.
Well, everybody let Khalil Mack drop to 5.
Well, who's picking?
He didn't go to Alabama though. At least there's some concern about competition at Buffalo. He went to Alabama and dominated.
Khalil Mack was pretty good too.
Every time I back somebody and I go, oh, this is my guy, and I like this guy, he ends up falling. And you guys know that I've been talking about Will Anderson for a while, and I'm like, I just have that feeling now.
Who's the guy last year again, Joe? There was someone that fell that you were on last year. I feel like.
I forget. I say so much stuff. I forget.
The quarterback I think that's going to get hyped is Levis from Kentucky. He's going to be up there in the conversation with Bryce Young. But to me, the draft that everybody should be waiting for is the following year. If you're looking at QB, like you could still take a QB in this draft, but I would go next year is the one where I like the kids that are coming out the following.
And then isn't Archie the year after that? 3 years? Archie Manning season? That's the one right there where everyone will be tanking for the first pick.
Well, next year you'll have Caleb Williams and you'll have Drake May, the kid from North Carolina.
Okay,
who's very talented. So you're gonna have 2 of those guys that I feel really good about.
Hopefully, national champion Caleb Williams by then, right? No.
What is it?
I said hopefully national champion Caleb Williams by then.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm still gonna root for Michigan. I don't give a shit whether Michigan wins.
I don't care about the sunshine.
We gotta get Tony off the air so he can go watch his Michigan game and put the boxers on, sit there with his robe. Great live.
This is every week. It feels like we topped the previous week's Pick'ems live. We appreciate everyone for tuning in, loading up the chat for us, having a great time with us. Let us know your picks in the comments if you're watching the replay. You can still go and join the Pick'ems challenge. You're only losing out on 1 game out of 16, so you can still win that thing. The link is in my bio on all platforms: NFL Mike, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok especially. So if you guys want to join the challenge, please join the challenge and send in your picks. Anything else, Tony? Joe, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, it's a new year.
Are we gonna be up here tomorrow? We're gonna be on here tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to. It's championship week, right? Wait, it is New Year's tomorrow. You guys going to sleep at 12:01 like me?
Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play something at 9 o'clock for the kids and make it seem like it's midnight, and then it's like, good night, guys. I can't believe we stayed up so late. Ugh.
That is a veteran dad play right there.
I will be up late and I will be up early. It doesn't matter. I will be there. Who's in the final in the other league? I never asked that. Do you know?
I can check real quick.
I'm not in that league, so I don't know who's in our league. Who's in the final in our leagues?
I'll tell you who's not in the final. Me.
I'm in the final in our league. That's what I want.
Let's go, Tony Tucker.
Put some respect on his name. Give him the belt, would ya?
I'm telling you, it's a really
Tony,
uphill battle. I'm playing Max and Juan, and everybody on their team is healthy, and no one on my team.
We got the 12-2 1-seeded Rooney Tunes against 7-7 6-seeded 7 o'clock in my league here.
Ooh!
And imagine Rooney Tunes wins this thing. That's going to be awkward with all of these fantasy experts in the league. And
Netflix has a short, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
But Rooney Tunes versus 7. 7's got 10 points from Mar, his kicker already.
I'm gonna have to go and cut out my segment of the Raiders and probably post it places because I don't know. We'll see. I'm already pissing.
You need to, yes. At least post it on stories because that was great. That was great. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in again. Always like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready for Joe to yell something into his microphone.
Listen.